Hi, Katie. How are you this week?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So last week when we left off, we were kind of working on building up like your self confidence and being able to validate yourself when you were confronting either talking to your mom or like just validating your choices and your thoughts that you were having when you were working on your relationship with your mom. I'm curious how things have been going.
Yeah, so I have really been trying to kind of work on having a healthy adult relationship with her, and really, because I have these feelings of wanting to be really close with her. So I've been trying to mend any of our like past disagreements. But something did come up recently. We're getting ready to go on this trip, and she really wanted to watch our pets. But we found someone that has kind of a more flexible schedule, so she was hurt by us asking them to watch our dog specifically. And it just kind of brought up some feelings, I guess, of wanting, this really close relationship with her and bending to her desires, as opposed to, like talking to my husband and making our decisions informed around what we need.
Okay. And so if I'm hearing you right, her reaction kind of almost made you feel like you needed to focus on what she was wanting again versus what you were wanting. You felt like you couldn't make that choice to just like make an adult decision and consult with your husband in the matter of what was happening because you were kind of concerned about her.
Yeah, it felt like the decision that was kind of best for us and made the most sense, or maybe like was the most responsible, I guess. Um, didn't It wasn't what she wanted,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it hurt her feelings or offended her,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess I've just been having a lot of conflicting feelings around that, not wanting to hurt her, because then that hurts our chances of kind of like the relationship that I want with her.
Okay. Okay. Um, so has anything else kind of did you have any time to kind of like think about that outside of talking with her? Like did anything surface when you like went away and kind of did any emotions or thoughts or anything kind of like come about from that afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, when I think about it, I get sad, because I have this like, idyllic picture of like a mother-daughter relationship with her that I want. I guess that I think my friends have with their moms. Um, and then I get like mad almost too, or just upset with like not with her not being okay. I guess with our decisions,
Okay.
not able to justify my decisions.
So it sounds almost like you're kind of having a little bit of a struggle with like you one part of you is like I really want to have like a certain relationship with my mom, and then the other part is kind of maybe struggling with like creating some distance, like maybe there's a need for some distance in order to have healthy boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm curious if you would maybe be open to trying on a transpersonal like intervention strategy is the best way to describe it. So we'll kind of break up those two parts of yourself that you're kind of battling. So the part that wants to have the closer relationship, and then the other part that's wanting to create a little bit of distance. Um, and so you yourself right now in the present moment is what we want to focus on is staying in that present moment. And where you're sitting right now is basically considered the manager of both parts. So we'll kind of check in with both parts after each talking to each one. But if there was a which side would you feel most comfortable kind of talking to first? So it would be either the side where you want to have the closer relationship or the side that's like I need some distance.
I think the distance side.
Okay. And where would that maybe be in the room? Or
It feels like over here.
over there? Okay, perfect. So if you want to move into that part of yourself, okay. And this exercise is a little, maybe feels a little foreign sometimes because it's like we're talking to that self, that part of yourself. So it's kind of like almost like talking in second person, or is kind of what sometimes it might feel like. So you're really just kind of talking to that part of yourself. Like what kind of, I just want you to kind of think about what comes about when you think about wanting to create distance, any kind of thoughts, feelings, emotions that kind of submerge.
I feel really sad thinking about the distance. Like I'm like missing out on something.
Okay.
Worries of regret.
Okay. So worried about some regret. Can you go a little bit deeper?
Um, I think there's definitely worries that what if I possess some of the same qualities that my mom does, that I feel like push me away. Um, what if I possess those qualities and push my daughter Nora away?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like feelings of, I don't know, like potential future hurt, I guess, if it were to be like a generational thing.
Okay. So maybe almost like this part of yourself is feeling more of the vulnerability of what that distance could create between your mom and potentially a future relationship with your daughter.
Yeah, yeah. But when you mention that, like it also brings up feelings of like vulnerability, I guess, of like um, like what would I be sacrificing um, by not giving myself like a little bit more.
Okay. So there's also, yeah, feelings of sacrifice of what you would maybe be missing out on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, just like feelings of what of myself would I be sacrificing?
Okay. And could you actually maybe express what that might surround, like what feelings this might be?
Um, I think it goes back to like like worries of having regrets, I guess. Um,
Okay.
like I don't want to sacrifice um, my own desires and my own wants to be like a doormat, I guess. So like this side of me um, feels like I get kind of that freedom, but there's still that worry of um, sacrifice.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So there's like this part of you that is like, oh, okay, if I create some distance, then I will get some freedom potentially, and I won't feel like I'm the doormat to my mom's emotions and feelings. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Could we move back to the center
Yeah.
for a moment? So how did that feel to be in that part of yourself?
Um, it was a little strange to kind of put myself like all on that side, I guess. To kind of like go all the way on the like assertive side, I guess.
Mm.
I don't know how, like I could almost feel that like that has the potential to actually happen, I guess. So it was a little scary.
Okay. Okay. That's good. It brought up a new awareness of potentially like some feelings of what could potentially happen, like, and maybe you didn't feel so good about it. It was kind of like a yucky feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you feel okay to move to the other side now and kind of express like that close bond or relationship that you were talking about?
Um, so it feels like a really like nice, almost like a hug, I guess. Like the thought of having that close relationship. Um, but at the same time, it almost feels like a hug that's like too tight and like suffocates a little bit at the end. Um, like I can feel like another sense of worry of like losing myself, I guess.
Okay. That's a good awareness to have. So there's like this, it could be really great, and I'm like the big part of you that really wants to have that close relationship with your mom. Then there's also maybe a new part of you that is emerging that's like this, I could still potentially be losing myself in this. Do you want to talk about a little bit more about the last part of that last awareness of maybe losing yourself?
Yeah, I think it feels like it comes from like to get that like warm hug, I would have um, to give up on like being honest. Like I feel like I'd have to like like with the dog, I'd have to like give up what is like the most responsible option for while we're away because she's just never around, and like um, just have her watch her so that she's happy. But I would end up worried, um, that like the dog's going days without food and stuff. Um, so it's like I would to get the warm hug, I would have to be unsettled. So that's why it doesn't feel like that great.
Okay. Okay. So it almost sounds like you feel as though if you had this closer relationship with your mom, there's a part of you that would have to remain giving into her wants and her desires. There's more compromise on your side to be able to maintain that relationship that you do want with your mom.
Yeah, and you even like more than just the compromise, like just like basic honesty, like
Mm,
have to lie, I guess, about what I'm really feeling or like what we're really doing, so that I could maintain that relationship.
gotcha. Okay. Do you want to move back into the center once more? Okay. I'm just curious, when you were in this side, how did that feel this time?
At first, it felt like really nice, like the idea of that hug, and then the more I started to like sit with it, it felt kind of like icky. I guess is like the best way to describe it.
Yeah. And in this exercise, did you feel like it was of any help being able to kind of like almost remove yourself from you right now and then being experiencing both other parts of yourself?
It was really helpful in I guess so, yeah, because it helped me see more clearly the pros and cons, I guess, of like each side, um, and not like just that, oh, this side would be so nice. Like there are pieces that come with both sides that are good and not so good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's a challenge, right? When we're kind of in a relationship with another person, is that there's going to be parts of you that you have a battle of like, I feel really close and I want to be close to this person, but then I also feel like there's parts of me that I have to give up.
Yeah,
And that's kind of where we are right now with talking about your mom. Is that accurate?
yeah, I think so, definitely.
Okay. I'm curious, what kind of feelings and emotions are present in your body at the moment? after doing that exercise?
I actually feel like I felt some tension in like when I was in each other position, but in the middle position, I feel a lot more relaxed, I guess.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like I feel like they, um, I don't know, like they kind of came together in the middle, and like this is where the happy medium is. Where
Hmm.
at the start, I think I thought of this spot as like split between the two, and now it feels like they've come together a bit
Okay.
more.
Do you feel a little bit more in control at all?
I do, yeah. I think that's where the feeling of balance kind of comes from.
Okay. So gaining these two awarenesses kind of brought some new things to your perspective, and now you feel a little bit like I can see through those different parts of myself a little bit more clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Would you be okay with trying a guided meditation, and then maybe we could explore after the meditation um, another it's we're going to use another art exercise to kind of, it's a mindfulness art exercise, but it can help you to visualize what that balance looks like.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. All right. So I just want you to get comfortable on the couch. So if where you are is good, what I want you to do is go ahead and we want to ground our feet on the floor. So make sure that your legs aren't crossed. Have both feet on the floor, and your hands, let me see where your hands are. So just kind of like, I don't know, let them loose a little bit, and then let them rest on your legs, them forward. Just feels good. Okay. Once you like move your body just a little bit, get a little bit relaxed, go ahead and close your eyes like you just were. And then I want you to focus on your breath. So go ahead and we're going to do 3 breaths total, but go ahead and breathe in. And I want you to focus on your breath first. It should be right where your belly button is. And I want it to come all the way up through your chest, through your throat. Feel like it's coming up into your mouth, and then blow it out through your mouth and your nose. So if you can just kind of release whatever energy is, anything that might be like unsettling, anything that you kind of just need to let go of, and go ahead and do that 3 times. So remember, focus on where it starts in your abdomen, up through your chest, in through your throat, and out through your mouth. Once more. Okay. I just want you to kind of focus in on your body, and we're just going to try to get a little bit more in touch with yourself. And so I want you to kind of focus on any warm sensations. So if you're feeling anything inside of your abdomen, what does that feel like? Just kind of resonate with that for a few minutes. And then remember to breathe through this. And then focus on your chest, anything that's kind of existing in your chest right now. Maybe also kind of touch in with your arms and see what do your arms feel like at the moment. And then in your throat and in your head and the top of your skull. And let out one more good breath. All right, and when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes. All right, how do you feel?
Good. I feel a lot more relaxed. I could almost feel, as you described, the parts of my body moving upward. I could almost feel like the tension release from those, especially my shoulders. I noticed that I was carrying like a lot of tension there, and as we moved from there upward, I felt it kind of lift.
Wonderful. I'm so glad. Okay, if you feel like you're comfortable to do the art exercise, if you could go ahead and grab a piece of paper and some art materials, if they have crowns or pastels around you, either one works.
Okay.
All right. And so I want, like last week, how we talked about setting our intention before we start the art piece. This time I want you to think of a word, and I want you to write that word down in the center or somewhere on the paper. And that is how we're going to set our intention this time, is just by one simple word.
Okay.
Okay, and then after you have that word in place, I want you to kind of just go ahead and either focus on whatever kind of, so keeping that word in mind, but whatever submerged from those feelings, anything that happened during the meditation, or it can be reflected back on our first exercise where we talked to about creating a balance between both parts of yourself. Now I'm just going to give you roughly about a minute and a half to kind of express that, if that's okay. Is that too time constraining? That's good. Okay, go ahead. All right, and Katie, whenever you feel like you're ready to finish, just go ahead and let me know.
I'm all set.
You're good? Okay. All right. Would you mind sharing what you drew?
Sure. So the word that I chose was balance, because I really would like to balance those two sides,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of like passive side and the assertive side. So I drew the blue line was representative of kind of the passive side, and the red line was more of the assertive because it felt like hotter tempered. Um, and then the orange was kind of the, I guess, like the middle ground. Um, and I think like initially when we did that first exercise, I thought of like the blue passive side as being like that warm hug feeling. But I kind of tried to draw like arms wrapping around the word balance,
Okay.
like a hug almost, because I think that you've helped me realize that, to kind of have that feeling, I need to honor both of those sides a little bit better, and that's how I'll probably feel the closest, I guess, to like that hug feeling for myself.
All right. That's wonderful. It's a really deep awareness. Did that exercise really feel? How did that exercise feel?
I was nervous about it. Like I didn't think that I was like, I don't know. I was nervous about my like artistic abilities, but then it just sort of like felt like came, it just kind of came out.
Yeah, it seemed like you were really mindful of what kind of new awarenesses that came from the first exercise, and then utilizing the meditation component really kind of helped you get even more in touch with your awareness of yourself. And then it was really beautiful to see how elaborate everything kind of came together just now, and how you were visually able to kind of express it. Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, so I'm hoping that maybe this week, if you feel comfortable, to try to practice that the breathing meditation, and then also maybe once again try to work on using the mindfulness art meditation also, if that works for you. And then we can kind of our next session, we can maybe even, if you want to bring those in with you, the art pieces that you create, we can kind of reflect on how, if anything has kind of evolved, like any new awarenesses have come up since this week's session of talking about creating this balance and working towards that relationship with your mom that you ideally want to have. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point.
Perfect. All right. Well, Katie, it was really great to see you today. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks. You too. Bye. I did the first